Well, it's going to be pretty tough not to fall in love with this one. And I'm talking, of course, about Dr. Larson.
Sure you are.
Sure I am, right? No, not that you're swell, okay?
Well, thank you.
You're swell, but look at this one. Who's this? Who is
I
this?
brought Abigail Lynn with me today.
Goodness
She's
sakes.
a 12-week-old. What kind of dog is she?
She's an English
Everybody
bulldog.
will know Abigail.
Oh,
Lynn's
I love them. Just, I mean, that face will just melt your heart. Okay, we're going to be talking about diseases today. Now, some diseases that pets get, they don't affect us. We don't have to worry about them. Some do, though. Some can spread from animals to people. What are those called?
They're called zoonotic diseases when they spread from an animal to a person.
Well, now we're going to talk about one of the more well-known ones, which is?
It's rabies, Tim. Rabies is the #1 best-known zoonotic disease.
And Abby just got her rabies shots. She's good to go.
I think 2 days ago.
There you go. So, see, just a little while ago.
You're doing well.
What causes rabies? What is it?
Rabies is a virus, Tim.
Okay.
And it has affinity toward the central nervous system in the brain. But at the latter stages of the viral infection, it concentrates in the salivary glands. And that's important to know because it's the salivary glands that have the virus is in, and it spreads through the bite because the bite penetrates the skin and the saliva gets in it that way.
Okay. Well, now, what animals are we looking at are the main carriers of rabies?
Well, on the wild side of animals, around here, skunk. We've all heard about skunks and rabies. Skunks, fox, bats, and raccoons.
I was going to say raccoons are the ones.
Yeah, top 4. But you know, all of these animals can get it. Let's talk about the domestic animals.
Yeah,
too.
what are we worried about with the domestic ones?
Dogs,
Okay.
cats, horses, and cattle. Now we're talking about unvaccinated animals here. Of course, cattle and horses we don't vaccinate as often as we do dogs and cats.
Okay. How, as a person, can you protect yourself from rabies?
It's not as simple as it sounds, but it can be. Leave the stray animals alone.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because you don't know what they're going to have. Control the pet population. Control the dogs and cats that are stray, because they're the ones that aren't vaccinated. They're the ones that are going to come across.
Those ones you got to worry about.
Yeah, those ones you got to worry about. Bats. We mentioned bats as being a spread. If you have a bat in your house, that's not a good place for a bat to be.
Good call.
Let's move the bat out.
All right. Is it curable though? Can you cure rabies?
Unfortunately, no, Tim.
Really?
Rabies has nearly 100% fatality rate.
Really?
It's almost everybody, animals or people, they get rabies.
I can honestly say I had no idea about that.
It's a pretty scary disease.
That
That's
is
probably
pretty.
all
It
know
makes it
about
even scarier than it was. Okay. What are the symptoms you're looking for?
Well, there are 2 forms of rabies: the vicious form and the dumb form.
Okay.
Now, an animal may show either form of it, so it's not really diagnostic to say, well, this is not a vicious form. Vicious would be, and this is what you and I think of as rabies. A rabid animal will bite at things, bite at us, salivate heavily at the mouth, get agitated very easily, very aggressive. That's the vicious form.
Okay.
The dumb form is just the opposite. They're ataxic, they're wobbly, they can't move, they act like they've been drugged up. Really? They're the ones that you might find on your doorstep, a wild animal on the doorstep. What are you doing here? But thing to remember about that too, Tim, is either way, the symptoms are going to vary from animal to animal. So if it's not vicious, it may still be rabies.
It may still have rabies. Okay. Are there any diseases that might mimic it?
There are several that would. Most of them that involve central nervous system type diseases. So to diagnose it, we have to submit brain tissue into a laboratory to diagnose if there's rabies virus present or not.
Okay, real quick here, we're about out of time. What do you do with an unvaccinated animal that maybe gets bit by it?
Well,
another one.
The rabies will cause, the vicious form will cause biting.
Okay.
But it's possible that, say, a healthy animal that's unvaccinated will bite right before it starts showing symptoms.
Okay.
So what we do is we quarantine them for 10 days, because we know as veterinarians that if you have rabies and you're spreading rabies through your bite and you're showing symptoms of rabies, you're going to die in 10 days. And so that's, and if you're healthy and everything's fine in 10 days, we know, well,
then you're good to go.
Yeah, it's easy.
Vicious, not the words you think of when you look at Abby.
No,
let's just put it that way. Thank you both for joining us. We'll have a look at your forecast up next.